everyone. Welcome to episode number 75.
Amazing.
Jim. It is amazing.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. 75 of Merritt in the Morning. He is 30-year state senator Jim Merritt.
He is Brad Klopfenstein with the president of the Greater Lawrence Chamber of Commerce.
And he is Brian Wilkes, Fox 59 weatherman. We're going to get to him in a minute. Jim, we got business.
We do.
So we have a new sponsor. Well, one of our two sponsors has taken on special meaning now to the show because one of our spouses is now employed with them. So
And it's not the ham company.
I was not going to say which one.
That was on one of our episodes, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did have ham talk for a solid 10 minutes. So
Hamming it up.
yes. So want to thank our sponsors, the Honey Baked Ham Company, locations at 96 in Michigan, Greyhound Pass in Carmel. Also want to thank Stockyards Bank and Trust.
Let's stop at the ham company for a minute.
Yeah.
I was in there the other day and
Having lunch?
Having lunch.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, and you can get gift certificates.
What?
Yeah,
That sounds fancy.
that is a really great gift, I think, for somebody.
It sounds fancy. I think it sounds wonderful. It makes a great stocking stuff.
It does.
So we're almost halfway to Christmas now.
You know, Jim, here's my financial advice. Skip crypto, invest in ham.
I do.
Goodness,
I
there
do.
it is.
Yeah.
I think we can do a whole episode on ham, period.
Wait, I know. I
Okay,
can.
the next time you're on, we're all going to bring our best ham recipes.
Okay, I'm down with that.
All right.
Well, we have a discussion in our household, with the bone,
Yeah.
or my mother-in-law really just likes the,
The spiral sliced ham.
So now, do you save the bone and then use it in like a stew or something later on?
I'm not that deep.
You don't make broth. You don't make broth. Okay. Well, I understand, Jim. You're bougie like
Do
that.
you like ham?
Do I like ham? I love ham. If we started hamming outside right now, I'd run outside with my mouth open. Thank you. Well, that wraps up this in the morning.
So yeah, Honey Baked Ham Company. They are open 7 days a week. Lunch, dinner, eat in, carry out.
So good.
But you can go there at least twice a day if you want, and they will take good care of you.
Twice a day.
I walk in there and they know exactly what I want.
That makes you a regular.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Russell will go, the classic? I go, yeah, the classic.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be a regular somewhere. Most people do it at a bar. You do it at the ham place.
I'd love to be a regular at the bank, too.
Oh my
Well, yeah.
goodness.
So last Thursday, Jim and
Nice
I.
transition.
It is, yes. We were just up the road from Honey Baked Ham on Michigan Road. Stockyards Bank and Trust opened their new Zionsville branch, just south of 116th Street, just inside of Boone County. So that is their newest branch.
And they got retail all over the place there, and they've got a great start to a really, really successful bank there.
They do. So yeah, they've got great staff there. And then they also let the cat out of the bag. They're going to open a new branch at 22nd Meridian.
That is that's great public service.
Midtown. So yeah, they are growing. So Stockyards Bank and Trust, in addition to all those branches, they've got 71st in Binford, Carmel, downtown Indianapolis, Plainfield, Greenwood, Center Grove. I think that's it.
He's got them all down. He makes a deposit in each and every one of them.
Exactly. $5 here.
I bank at 114th in Illinois.
Boone County's expanding, isn't it? Really starting to take off.
Oh, yeah.
It's been growing in the last 10 years, but it's just
absolutely.
really seems like it's jumped up.
Yeah. They're getting a Wally's up there. It's like Buc-ee's, but different.
Yeah.
What is the fascination with the gas stations?
I don't know, but Buc-ee's in the southern part of this country is very, very popular.
I mean, it's like this. It's almost kind of like WWE. It's like, oh, we're a Buc-ee's and we're a Wawa, and then when you start talking to people who go to them, they start to get very.
Well, they'll fight
you got to try them out. And I'm like, you stop, you get a tasty cake, you get some gas, and you get back on the road. But apparently, this is a whole new generation of you go to the gas station.
When we were
it becomes
kids,
an event.
we went to Kings Island. Now you go to Buc-ee's.
But I will say, I do think that several years ago, I did stop at a really nice. We were on our way to Nashville, Tennessee, and I think it was a Buc-ee's, and they had some beautiful vegetables and tomatoes. It was like but I don't know that I'd get that. I mean, we literally on our sets at work in the commercial break start talking about it. And some of the folks it becomes a little bit of a heated battle. And if you're getting a Buc-ee's or a Wawa or a Shoo or
put you on the map.
Yeah,
now I'm partial to the Leos. There's not a whole lot of them yet, but those are the people that used to own Gas America, and their 10-year non-compete ran out once they sold the Speedway. So now they're opening these Leos, but they are freaking nice.
There's a Leo's up on 146th Street.
Yeah. 146. They got one over here in McCordsville. So Greenfield. They're not even a sponsor. So
funny how we talk about ham and gas.
Yeah, exactly. Things that are dear to our money. Might as well talk beer now, and we'll just cover it all.
Truth of life. Money, gas.
All right, yeah. So we're now more than 5 minutes into this show, and we haven't even talked to our guest about anything that he should know about.
The weather is crazy these days.
It is.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, well, it keeps you on your toes.
I honestly, we haven't had really any rain for a week.
We haven't.
But I will tell you, it was crazy stressful, I feel, this year for the race forecast, for the first year in several years. It's the third year that we've had weather impact the race. But 2 years ago when that squall line came, we knew it was coming. I mean, we knew it really was coming down to within an hour, and it did. Delayed the game, or delayed the race, but we got the day in. And then I think this previous year was really annoying because it was just sprinkles. It was another shower band that was coming in out of Illinois, and it was fading. It just kept drying up, but it was just enough to poke me in the air.
Was it 2 years ago where it was the
squall line?
It was the squall line. And then they got the race in. It ended late, and then the skies opened up 45 minutes.
Did it storm afterwards?
Oh, my God. I remember driving home.
I might have, But I do remember that we got it and cleared and it dried. I love the fact that we can drive the track. They can drive the track within like 2 hours now.
Yeah.
It's much quicker. And then this year was really, I think, more stressful because I felt like if we would have had the showers in the morning, and they were very, very possible, and there were sprinkles and light rain, if it would have been delayed at all at the onset, I think we would have had a messed up end of the race. It would have probably been a shortened one because we knew the second batch was going to come in 2 to 4 p.m.
Well,
and it worked out.
We love that end.
So that was my crazy weather, right? That's the crazy weather. But I will say, in defense of that, we have not had a tornado warning issued from the National Weather Service Indianapolis since the end of April. We went through the entire month of May without a tornado warning.
That's unusual.
And no tornado in the state of Indiana. That's the first time since May of 2021. Knock on wood, here we are in the first few days of June, which is still a very, very prime time of severe weather around the season. This is September weather we've had. So this is we're the 4th. Is this June 4th now?
Yeah. Yep.
So we're 4 days in, and it has been low humidity, warm days, cool nights. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And again, it's been about a 7. I think we're day 8 with little to no rain. So I'll let you go ahead, and I'll tell you something funny. But it's interesting.
Well, am I correct? Am I correct that April was a really warm month? Do I remember that correctly?
You read my mind so cleverly and never missed a cue. April, and go back to March.
So got to 88 in March.
88 degrees on March 22nd. We haven't been that warm. And in April, our warmest night, on a record-setting warm minimum, was on the 14th. The low was 69. So we haven't even had a low temperature of 70 degrees or warmer yet. We're into June. It's because we don't have any humidity, and that's going to change, I think, in the next few days, especially as we get in the weekend. But yes, all of March and all of April were very, very warm, which pole vaulted us to one of the warmest springs on record. And then we had a pullback in May. May was a little bit more seasonal, touch below average.
So now we haven't had rain in a week.
Yeah.
It's going to be at least a couple more days. So soil moisture has to be getting really close to zero, and that typically is what brings on drought conditions and things. I mean, are we looking at that this year? Maybe.
I do feel that we're going to dry up here and probably go to abnormal. Now, remember, late last year, it was severe drought in north central Indiana. So up near Delaware County, Grant County, Howard County, Tipton County, they were in pretty bad shape. But we got out of it. And The ebb and flow here is that in June, with that sun angle as high as it is, you really can zap the soil pretty quickly. And I think, really, honestly, Brad, you're going to see more of that on our lawns in the coming days, and not necessarily for the agricultural community. They did the planting, and they did pretty well with the warmer weather. They got a lot of that into the soil pretty early. I would say that there's probably a higher probability we will have a drier than normal June, and June is a month that is the wettest annually. And all it takes is a thunderstorm or two. This at least blocking pattern that we've been in is probably going to reemerge again in the next several days. I feel that we're going to have showers around, but it's not going to be those pronounced systems that come through and really. It's going to be a little bit more widely scattered and perhaps a little less unevenly distributed. Will we have a drought again? There's going to be areas that see some poor conditions, I think, by the end of the month. It just seems that's the ebb and flow. You know, we get a really good spring. We get a lot of moisture in the soil like we did last year, and that fostered a bumper crop. And so you'll notice it in our yards. But I think we're okay for now, but I'd be a little bit more concerned if we get to the second half of the month and there are some signs that there will be a temperature drop that might foster more rain. So it's a little dicey June, that's for certain.
Foster, huh?
Yes.
That's a good word.
I have to come up with different words because I talk so much.
Been doing this now 30 years.
But it's our show. We do so many broadcasts a day. You know, I have to come up with a different word every once in a while just to kind of make me feel like I've got something, because it's redundancy. You know, we do a 4:15, 4:30, 4:45, 5, and it hits weather, which is great for me. Yeah, you know.
My mom grew up in Southern Indiana, and my wife did too, and I've got Ken down there now, and forever. Am I imagining things? But that Southern Indiana, from Salem over to Henryville, that seems like Tornado Alley. Is that something that am I tracking, or is it just kind of spotty?
It's to some degree there's some validity to that in terms of like the last big tornado that we had. Well, we had a couple, back in last April. And then the Monroe County back in May of last year was a heavy one. Sullivan tornado in 23. Henryville 2000 March 2nd, 2012. You know, that sticks in my mind because it was so vivid how long that tracked.
They kill people.
Yes, it's one of those. I feel like we just go through these ebb and flows and cycles. For many years in the 60s and 70s, it was northern Indiana. Yeah, and it seems like that maybe. Yeah, Monticello, and then you had the April 3rd, 4th super outbreak, and then 65, the Palm Sunday. I do feel that maybe the last several, maybe 20, 25 years, there's been some heavier weather in the southern part of the state, southern third. The tornado that hit Evansville in November of 2005.
Is that the one that pushed the trailers into the pond?
I don't know exactly. I know that there was heavy damage, and that was before Thanksgiving, and more fatalities. I remember there was an overnight tornado too. And it was in November.
It hit Newburgh.
November of 13, we had the big outbreak, and we're just a couple of days removed from the 1990 June 2nd outbreak, which did 37 tornadoes around the state, and several of them were heavily weighted downstate. And there was the picture from Lagodi. So, maybe there is just a little bit something more going on in the southern part of the state just recently. But the comparison, 67,
you just never know.
And sometimes you just feel like if you're from that area or you're familiar with an area, it seems like, it's kind of like the old, why does everything stop at I-70? I mean, it's just that happens to be a geographical location, right?
Jim, I have a fun fact from a former guest of ours. Mama Klopp has been hit by 4 tornadoes in her lifetime.
Good grief, really?
So if you're looking to where tornadoes track, wherever she is, apparently is where they track.
So how impactful? The damage to the home, or extensive damage, or steamed home? Did she shelter?
She sheltered. So let's see. There was one when she lived up in White County.
Okay.
And that was pre-me, so I don't know how hard that was. I know there was 2 when I was a kid.
Okay.
That kind of skirted right behind our house and tore off patio and that sort of thing. And then in 98, the one that hit Cumberland, and it was at home. It really hit the neighbors hard, the next door neighbor's house hard. she had some damage and knocked some things and lost a bunch of trees.
Okay.
But yeah, she's had, Mama Klopp has been in 4 of them.
Wow.
Which I think they say the average person doesn't even see one in their lifetime.
Most people won't see a tornado in their lifetime, and here 4 of them have been, Sure she isn't from Oklahoma?
Missouri?
Yeah, exactly. So that's fun fact of my mother.
Wow, okay.
So, if you ever want to track where the next one's coming.
She needs to get like a T-shirt or something that says,
Yes. Ooh.
I.
So you were down in the 3-timers club on Merritt in the morning.
Yes.
She needs a jacket.
Yeah. I can't believe it's been over a year that I've been out.
We missed you. And I want to talk about El Nino.
Yep.
Would you tell our audience what that's all about? Is it coming along, and how it's going to impact us?
Yeah, it's just part of a process and a cycle that happens, and we go through these cycles, and they're more identifiable over the years with research. And I can remember my first time that I tangled with the Nino. I was in grade school, and I loved. So we'll kind of go back to how I got involved in weather. I loved winter storms, and I liked getting out of school. And it would drive me insane when I'd watch the TV weather people, and they'd say storm's coming, or we're going to get. And I'd wake up, and there would be nothing. So it just fostered the inner beast of me to really want to figure the science out. And it was the early 1980s when we had just a winter break, and it was Christmas time, and it was sunny and 60. What happens is that this transformation out in the equatorial waters of the Pacific, the waters begin to warm. And this year is expected to be a ginormously warm anomaly. So a lot of the buzz on the interwebs is a super El Nino is coming. So it's going to be among the strongest. And it does have a direct impact. There are fingerprints or footprints of what happens here creates something here. So it has a global reach. And the forecast is that typically we have a cooler and perhaps drier summer.
I go for cooler.
That's the one that kind of catches me, because they're not all the same.
Mm-hmm.
But it does create different hazards and different pleasure for parts of the world. Now, some areas are going to have a really bad rainy season or a very rough summer. Some areas are going to be dry. Other areas might be rather pleasant. And we typically kind of get a little bit of a reprieve from a lot of the hot weather. We'll get into what's called a northwest flow, which means more of this type of weather in early June may show up. So I like to attribute this kind of weather to September, where you get the warm days and the cool nights, and then you're finally getting relief. I do have a little bit of a question as whether or not we are going to be that mild. We'll be impacted, but to what extreme? And then this has a carryover to the next couple of seasons as well, and that would take us into the winter months, which would then suggest that we would have a very limited amount of snowfall or warmer than normal winter. That's still months down the line. Something that definitely happens when we have an El Nino is that the Atlantic hurricane season really gets to become rather quiet. Mm-hmm. So none of them are the same. Maybe I'm a little more pessimistic because I don't believe it until I see it, but I do understand it. I don't know if I can sit there and say, yeah, well, we're not going to have a hurricane season. It's going to be pretty slow. Probably will be, but the problem is you get one, and one is enough. Yeah. If you get one bad hurricane, and that's a real possibility, then you step up and go, I thought it was El Nino. Yeah. So the global forecast models now, what we call coupled models, are now, we're more advanced in where we can use, or at least the analysis between the ocean's interactions with the atmosphere. We know that happens, but how do we structure the modeling, and how does that impact our forecasting? We're getting better at that every generation.
Well, I'm always curious about Sanibel.
Yeah.
And you know, Ian hit us really, really hard.
Right.
And you wonder what's going to happen from August 1st to Halloween.
Yeah, right. And it's, you
just never know.
You can have you don't let your guard down when you think about Florida.
Oh, I mean, it's
you think about Fort Myers and all those areas north that were so impacted. But there's a lot of areas that haven't even really rebuilt from those.
My dad has a house down there, and you really think twice about going in August, September, and October.
Yeah,
and that's a quarter of the year.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're worried about being impacted by a hurricane.
Sure, it gets pretty hot, right?
But you can take time. It's just the danger.
Yeah.
So funny, last night I was out having beers with Travis Lucas. He and his wife own LCS Heating and Cooling. And he was complaining. He's like, man, we're dying here. The weather's been so nice. He goes, nobody needs heat. Nobody needs air conditioning. Nothing's breaking. He goes, I tried to come up with stuff for my crews to do.
Utility companies were saying the same thing.
They're like, they're
not selling anything.
Fleets, we haven't had big straight line wind damage. Well, we had the pretty good storms back at the end of April. That was our last tornado warning. That was late April. So we haven't had the widespread tree damage. Boy, there was a gentleman by the name of Phil Ping with Ping Tree Service that would always, send me an email and thank me for my coverage. But Phil had a very large, I think the Ping family still has their tree service out there.
Seen a name on top. Yeah.
Those are the services I think about. Boy, they thrive after a big storm. I think people invent their own tree service if they got when there's a bad storm, like, I've got
a chainsaw.
I'm bonded.
Tree service. We got to do some business.
Okay.
We're like way overdue. We have sponsors, paid ones, as opposed to the ones where we just drop their name.
You said that almost kind of like surprising.
Well, actually, excuse me, Brian, every episode I'm surprised that people pay us to do this.
So enthusiastic.
And they invite us to parties.
They do.
Wow.
They've renewed several times, which is even more shocking. So thank you, Stockyards Bank and Trust, for being our bank sponsor of Merritt in the Morning. Locations all over central Indiana and Kentucky. So give them your money. Also want to thank the Honey Baked Ham Company. Locations, Greyhound Pass in Carmel, 96th in Michigan. Lunch and dinner. Yeah. 2 meals. 2 to 3 meals of the day.
Yeah, but your leftovers could be perfect. Your leftovers could be.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and they're open on Sundays.
They are open on Sundays, so
fabulous.
Stop in there. But yes,
you know what? That just changed my life.
I'm glad that we could, for the betterment of Brian Wilkes. So thanks to our sponsor. Also want to thank Josh Gillespie. Josh is our fabulous sponsor. He sits over there and just laughs and he's kind of like shakes his head and wonders what's going on.
Got a ham on Mother's Day on Sunday.
Yeah,
I mean they're open.
They'll take care of you anytime. It doesn't need to be a holiday. Just every day is special, Jim.
Yes,
every day is a honey baked ham day.
For me, it's close.
It is very close. All right, so back to talking weather and Brian and nonsense. So
Brian and nonsense.
Yes, Brian. I've actually got 2 things. You is Foster the word of the day?
Foster, the word Foster in my book, Lessons Learned, it's 3 times in my book that I write. I use the word Foster.
Really?
I thought using Foster more than 3 times would be a little tough.
You counted?
Okay.
Well, it's almost like I was using it about every other chapter.
Sometimes you get hooked on a word or
you do.
It just kind of keeps coming back to you.
Now, if you want to amuse yourself on the set, I want you to someday pull out basically the old chalkboard with the magnets and wheel that thing out instead of the green screen where you just flip it over.
David Letterman.
Yeah.
We had some fun on race morning that this lovely family have a home right there in Speedway. And they set it all up for a party house for the entire month of May. And they knew that we were going to be there doing our live reports. And they made a big weather board with me and Jim O'Brien on it. They had Velcro, it's 8 o'clock. And that's sunny, rain. And then it was really cool. And I want to use it every year. I go back. It's funny when you say that. When I think about the technology, I remember taking a class in 1990 college, Adobe Photoshop 1.0. When it first came out, because I knew that I would have to make graphics. You had to have some kind of graphic knowledge and the ability to create. And we used to have a stylus pen, and you tap it, and you made all the graphics. We still do to some degree. Have to have a little bit of I like making graphics.
Yeah, one of the great things, in my opinion, about the race is not only the race, but also all the personalities that attend the race. And, Fox is a big part of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
It is.
Everything now. Were you able to meet some people that you
Over the years I have. This year was a little different. We were in a different position this year. We were outside of the track. Normally I'm in the pagoda, and that's when it's a lot of fun because you get to see more of the celebrities. But this year we had more of the folks that were just coming in, and they were passing through this little bridge area in the northwest corner. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. You saw some different folks. And really, most of the people were in a great mood. It felt like they were just this uplifting, like, we are so happy it's race morning. They're all 4:30 is when I got down there.
I was going to ask you when you got there and when you left.
I'll tell you, I went to bed at 12:50 in the morning, and I got up at 2:50 in the morning, and that was that weird. I never really slept, you know. I'm not used to. I've worked nights for 30 plus years, so I go to bed at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning every morning, and then getting up for me is closer to 9:30 or 10, and that's when So I'm just used to it. I mean, I've been the nighttime weather for over 30 years. So that one frustrates me because I know I have to go to bed. And I've learned over the years, you can't go to bed early because I'll just be laying there like this watching Magnum PI or whatever on like the strange channels on Saturday night. I love Sven Gulli. That's my guy. Son of Sven Gulli. I grew up watching him in Chicago back in the 80s. But you just can't fall asleep. And so I just got out of bed at 3:50. What I thought was remarkable was how easy it was to get into the track. So everybody was in a really good morning. Yeah, I left the house at 3:50 and I was down at the track by 4:20.
So where do you park?
Well, there's a media lot.
Inside?
No, we were just outside the track.
Lot 2, just on the other side of Georgetown, about Pagoda.
Yeah, so that was nice. That was for a couple of years. My wife would drive me down at about 4 o'clock in the morning and drop me off at the corner, and I'd scurry up. Yeah, she is really. But then she fell out of sainthood because she doesn't do that anymore. I can't say I blame her, but yeah, it was a lot of fun this year. But it was over the years I met some great folks. I get to meet some celebrities, and
it seems like there's a lot more excitement out there these days.
I feel that it's really had a resurgence, and you got to lay that right at the feet of the staff at the Indy Motor Speedway. Doug has done so much with it, and really just the resurgence in the last few years. The Fox broadcasting, the Fox.
I thought they did
trying to package job. And I don't know that it's all that. I think we grown up and knowing you knew what the drivers' names were, and that's what got you into it. So you just had, and that's what I thought was behind all of NASCAR's success for many years in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
you had a team, you knew a guy, and you knew their personality, and you might have been a Stewart guy, or you might you don't know.
Yeah,
but I think
the rivalries, the competition, and the color. And, I mean. And we have it now.
Yeah, and so it's. I hope to. I understand that this is the second year that it's sold out, so that we had a broadcast. I still like the radio calls, so that's just the tradition. But we had the TV on and we had the radio on, and it was just a festive and fun day. And I think everybody was in a great mood.
You'd be great on the radio for the 500.
I'll tell you what, those guys are wonderful, aren't they? I just enjoy all.
You friend of the show, Mark James. His call in the last lap.
You can't beat it. It is
shivers just thinking about it.
That is just great stuff. I'm Jake Query and Kristen Aries been on it. So all those guys are really.
This is the first year that Chris stepped away. He retired from it.
Yeah,
and Marine Rob. There's a new personality turned 4 this year.
Okay.
Jake Query, I think, had been in 2, and he moved to 3 or 4 this year.
I think he's in 3.
Yeah.
But he does a great job.
Yeah,
they all do wonderful.
Don't tell Jake too much of that. He'd go to his head.
Yeah. So, all right, I have another weather question for you.
Sure.
So, when you list the averages for a date, the highs and lows, does that go back to 1873? And they average everything forward, or is it a rolling average of like the last 20 30 years?
Year average. Okay. So a 30-year average. But I do like to look at the overall numbers back to 1871. So so it's the average that we'll see each day. Like today's average high temperature is 79. That's a 30-year average, and those numbers have gone up a little bit in the last decade. So they'll revisit them every 10 years. So it is a 30-year average, but they'll freshen them every 10 years.
Okay, that was going to be my follow-up question: of have those numbers moved?
It's I do feel that we get into it's just ebb and flow, and we have more extremes. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this winter turned out to be a more typical winter, but I do have to say that we did have some big breaks. I mean, it was an extreme 3 weeks in December, then it broke right before Christmas, and then we got an extreme 3 weeks in January with the big storm on the 25th of January, and then by mid-February it eased up again, and we had a beautiful February day, I think our first 70 of the year, 88 on March 22nd, and then we had really warm weather in April, and then it got cool in May. And where was this on race weekend? Oh my God! I think the race is May 30th next year, so it was earlier this year.
Yeah, this year I think they said was the earliest it could ever be, and next year is the latest it could ever be.
Okay,
so effectively it'll be weekly.
People that are watching this that really aren't familiar with the race. And we know this.
Yeah.
Well, the date of the race.
You know when it is going to be.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of like Brian said. You get amped up. What Doug Bowles said, he doesn't even sleep the night before because he can't. I mean, I'm kind of the same way where I start looking 300 days out.
Yeah. But Doug is Doug's enthusiasm, I think, rolls off on everyone too. I wish you would listen to my really cool idea about New Year's Eve there at the track. I've been fostering this idea for years. I think how they do Rev at the Pagoda.
Yeah,
they need to do a New Year's Eve live broadcast there all night long. Cool party. And then at midnight, or just before midnight, an Indy car pulls out of Gasoline Alley, and it's lit up. And you follow it with a helicopter, and it goes around 1, and it goes 10, 9, and as it comes around, and then right when it hits the Yard of Bricks, it's midnight, the fireworks go off, there's all this pomp and circumstance. Hey, Happy New Year, it's only so many days.
The only question I have is, can you put snow tires on an Indy car?
Yes, all-terrain. Yep.
If it's then I think it's even more exciting. Let's see if we can pull this off.
Yeah.
More often than not, we've had great New Year's Eves. I've said, let's go for it.
I think that's so much of a better idea than a car.
Yeah, that they only did that 2 or 3 years.
Oh, and it was so cold. We were down there, and it was the problem. Freezing, and they were lowering it. And the wind was blowing it. But pull out, and then go. And so, if it snows, it snows, right? Yeah. Then we get a snowmobile out there. I don't know, but I'm telling you that this would be so cool to see a car cross the Yard of Bricks at midnight on New Year's Eve. Fireworks go crazy. Welcome to the new year.
It's many days before the race.
Yeah,
many races.
Could you imagine the exterior shots that you can get at the Pagoda on New Year's Eve with the city on it?
It's 150 days to the race.
Call me. I like this idea.
Call me.
Well,
Come on, Doug.
Well, right now all the national shows, they do New York. And now they've gone to Nashville.
Yeah.
Seems to have it, and I'm not sure where they do out west, but there's no reason they.
I would like to come to Primbine, Wisconsin, to see how it's going down up there. Here's a live look in downtown Ironwood, Michigan.
People miserable, huddled.
Pick them up, truck driving down the street.
Home.
Oh man.
Be tossing spotted cows out of the drawer.
You like that, huh?
Well, you don't remember Hee Haw.
I do remember Hee Haw. At the time, I fought having to watch it because my parents loved it.
Yeah, you fought having to?
Yes. Now I'm like, all right, that's kind of kitschy.
Yeah.
So, same with Lawrence Welk. So, what other weather questions do we have?
What do you, right now, for the next week or two, do you foresee dry conditions? It's wonderful weather right now. What is the forecast for the immediate? This is June 4th, 2026.
I think there's going to be a mid-month pattern flip again. So we've had those. It seems like that's the cycle we've been in, where I find it just fascinating that Mother Nature knows exactly when we change the calendar or when we're at the halfway point. So it looks to be fairly warm for the first 2 weeks in June. The rain chances, I think, are going to start to show up because the humidity is going to show up. So it's been really comfortable. But you get that, I call it the muggly, the muggly air. Yeah. Once we start getting more humidity, we're going to start having warmer nights. You know what that leads to? Yep. Bugs.
Right.
I have not seen them.
I haven't seen any this year. I love it.
I think it's because it's so cool at night. It just shuts them down. But that's what I love about it. And we, for the last few years, we've been getting those stink bugs. They've been absent this year. And I know why. Because for the first time ever, I went and bought that stink bug trap spray. And now I don't have any. I didn't even put it out.
I get them in January.
Yeah, if it warms up, they just show up and we're like, hey, what's up? I'm like, what are you doing? Get out of here.
They serve zero purpose.
It may be a little bit of a cooler, it may be a little wetter trend in the second half of the month. So that's what I'm watching, even though the outlook for the month of June is drier than normal. Today is the day that the drought center will come out, and I do believe that you're going to see a expansion of the abnormally dry. But we're not at any eye-catching number deficits right now. Granted, we have been dry for the last week. The month is running about a half inch below normal.
How many staff, meteorologists, and weather people do you have at 59?
Isn't that remarkable? We have 8 people with us now. When I started, it was 1.
8 people.
Now we have 8.
That is quite.
Well, when you started, there was only one newscast.
That's right.
It was at 10.
It was at 10.
Now you're on
35.
You're on the air 22 hours a day.
It is about that. Doesn't it seem like that?
And when do you go to work now?
I'll be in at about 3 o'clock. And I'll be there till almost midnight, 3 to 11:45 or so. So my afternoon
Talking
shift,
to you.
Yeah, my shift is the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock newscast.
Good Lord, man.
It is a lot. It's a Jerry Lewis telethon every day.
And you've got to grow your vocabulary.
Yes, and that's
Come up with new words.
And I was never. I'm telling you, I did not like the English class or typing as a kid. I just thought it was boring. And why do I need to learn how to type? Oh, I'm going to be a TV weatherman someday. I don't need all of the stuff. Sit down the first time I'm in Elkhart and I have a tornado warning out. This is prior to where the Microsoft and the computers could run the Chiron and the little. And I'm like, oh my God, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch, and I'm ASDF JKL7.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's funny.
That was just how
it just comes.
we have a whole generation that doesn't even know how to write cursive.
Yeah,
and I thought that was amazing because how are you going to sign an autograph?
or a contract?
All right, Jim, we are well past the end of our show. I've noticed this. So we do our show most of the time from Cafe Audrey's here at beautiful Fort Wonder Harrison.
We work hard to be nice.
Yeah, work hard to be nice. That is our slogan, although we inherited it. I noticed today, one of the benefits of coming here to Cafe Audrey, you serve yourself coffee, and they've got all these random coffee mugs. You never know what you're going to get. Brian today got the Bristol Kingsport KOA Campground mug.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Tammy, for allowing us to be here.
So
Bristol Kingsport. Yeah.
So
good coffee.
Was that the Tri-Cities of Tennessee with Johnson City? I think.
I know they race cars out of Bristol, don't they?
Okay, we're going to go with that. It's there, Connecticut, one of those two. So, all right, Jim, I'm going to wrap this if that's all right with you. Okay, then we'll continue to talk on our own. So now, if you ever wanted to watch one of these episodes in person, we typically do them on Thursday mornings at Cafe Audrey's, and then we release the show on Monday morning.
I'm not sure why you would, but
I don't know. Every once in a while, we do have just random people come in.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. This has been episode number 75.
70, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, 3-timer.
Yeah.
You've now
been my
here.
Jacket. I'll take 48 regular.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, we'll send you over the Merritt in the Morning sticker. If you do show up, we do have stickers now that you can put on your computer, your car,
or your chest,
your dog, whatever.
Yeah.
So, thanks to our sponsors.
Why it goes long.
Thanks to our sponsors, the Honey Baked Ham Company, locations 96 in Michigan, Graham Pass, and Carmel. Go there every day, lunch and dinner.
They're open on Sunday.
Open on Sunday. Eat in.
Gift certificates. Gift cards.
And yes, if you eat in, you can have unlimited honey mustard.
Now, that's a game changer. That's for another
Mike
episode.
Kalb is going to be calling you.
Yeah. Mike, pull out the old stock. See Jim coming. So thank you very much to the Kalb family for sponsoring us, really from the beginning. Also, thank you to Stockyards Bank and Trust.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul, very much. Paul Moan is directly responsible for the sponsorship.
She is.
Locations 71st and Benford, Carmel, downtown Indianapolis, Plainfield, Greenwood, Center Grove, Zionsville now, and then coming to Midtown sometime later in the year. So thank you all for watching, and we'll be back in probably 3 weeks-ish.
If they'll have us.
Yes. So who knows where we'll be. We've been talking about going on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
So I want to go up to Frankfurt sometime and go to the Glover's Ice Cream.
That'd be nice.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, something different.
Yes. So we'll see. Could be anywhere. Could be on the road and with Brad and Jim be next. So, Brian, thank you very much for being with us.
I love being here with you guys anytime.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All
We'll do a whole another episode on coffee.
We can. Okay, next time, ham and coffee.
Thank you all for watching.
1, 2,